It is a busy day of Ginetta race action at a very hot and a very sunny Snetterton, and with a race already run for the Ginetta Juniors and for the Ginetta GT Championship, it is the turn of the drivers in the Ginetta GT Academy to head to the circuit next for their first race of the weekend. And they will have 3 races as normal, and the drivers have had a rather longer wait than planned because we've had red flags in earlier sessions. But the cars now are heading to the grid, and when they do so, they are going to be headed by Charlie Digby, who is the driver currently 3rd in the championship. He will have pole position. He was a winner at Donington at the start of the season. He was a winner in 2 races, in fact, there. But we also will have, lining up with him at the front of the grid, Jamie Caudle, who was another winner at Donington. He's now 3 times a winner because there were successes at Silverstone and Oulton Park. He's had 1 victory each venue, effectively, and he's the championship leader. He will be on the outside of the front row of the grid for the rolling start. The race is going to be 20 minutes in duration, and we have 14 cars set for this first of 3 races of the weekend. Charlie Digby then on pole position. The other driver that's been winning this year, 3 victories also, James Nicholas, 2nd in the championship. He's going to start on the inside of the 2nd row of the grid. And alongside him is going to be Sam Shrimpton, who was the driver who was victorious in the Palmer Sport Ginetta Scholarship, so effectively a prize drive, and that's put him then into the championship this year. He is going to line up 4th on the grid. A little bit further back, the car of Shiv Sapra is going to start 5th. Joe Edge on the outside of that row for 6th. And the fans that have stayed late into the afternoon getting ready for the final race of the day. The cars, I think, are now making their way up to the grid. We've got a few GT4 cars being retrieved after earlier dramas. So now that the recovery vehicles are in the pit lane, up to the grid can come the cars for the Ginetta GT Academy. They are all G56 GTAs with their Ford V6 engines, 270 brake horsepower, top speed of 140 miles an hour. They weigh in at 1,100 kilos, and it is effectively an entry-level GT class here. The field split between the experienced drivers in the GTA class, the newcomers in the rookie class. So you don't have to be a complete novice. You can have done a bit of racing elsewhere to still be allowed in, but the idea is to let people get a feel for a big, powerful GT car before they progress up the ranks of, if you like, Ginetta GT, and then ultimately perhaps into a GT4 in the British GT Championship in a Ginetta. Indeed, Ginetta has just taken a pole position for one of tomorrow's 2 British GT 1-hour races. So the cars heading into place. There you can see number 14, Charlie Digby, the son of Peter Digby of X-Track fame, and more recently the chairman of the British Racing Drivers Club. On the outside of that row is the car of Jamie Caudle, and as I say, winners both this year. So it's going to be an interesting fight, I think, between those 2 once we go racing. Charlie Digby, if you go back quite a few years, did race in Ginetta Juniors, then had a season, it's because he outgrown Ginetta Juniors, too old, went into the GT5 Championship for the G40 model, and then, as he calls it, had early retirement, stopped after 2019, but came back into motorsport this season. And all of that really was so he could go off and do his university degree in Bath and working in London as an accountant in one of the big 4. So delighted to get back to racing and would like some more wins. Didn't win at Silverstone, didn't win at Oulton Park. He's going to put that right, no doubt, here. As the green flag then is waved, the cars make their way on to the formation lap for the rolling start. Jamie Caudle on the outside of the front row, the Newton Abbott mechanic, and started racing last year in the Ginetta GT Academy. Sim racing was what really fueled the interest, having been a spectator for many seasons, and then decided to come into motor racing last year. Currently doing a degree in motorsport engineering as well. So he lines up on the outside of the front row of the grid. 2nd row is where you're going to find number 99. There it is, the white car of James Nicholas, winner at Silverstone and of 2 races at Oulton Park. So Charlie Digby and Jamie Caudle lock out row 1. James Nicholas and Sam Shrimpton the 2nd row, ahead of Shiv Sapra and Joe Edge on row 3. The 4th row, Alex Dayton and Peter Thompson, ahead of Alan Wright and Louis Darling. Then you've got Lucy Hodgson with Damien Duffy alongside. Lexi Belk on the back row of the grid with Mukesh Parakh for company. So the pace car, as it is, leads them round. Just looking to the second row of the grid, the driver to keep an eye on there, definitely James Nicholas, as I say, 3 times a winner this season. And Sam Shrimpton coming out of that Palmer Sport scholarship, a prize drive onto the grid this year. Shiv Sapra from a good racing family. We've seen the family racing in BMWs and Brick Car and other things over the years. Joe Edge lining up on the outside there, company director. Used to own a team that was 76 in GT3 racing, so that ran McLarens and Mercedes AMGs, as well as not just in the British Championship, operating cars in GT Cup, GT Open and Creventic series, but having run a team, decided it was about time he went racing. So he's given up on the team. He's got an expanded polystyrene business, trained as a commercial pilot as well, but now being a racing driver is Joe Edge on the outside of the 3rd row. 4th row is where you find 27 of Alex Dayton, who is now 4th in the championship, and Peter Thompson lines up alongside. Peter, who is the non-executive chairman of a technic business and non-exec director of an insurance business and a consultant to the insurance industry. First season last year in Ginetta GT Academy. He'd done a few Palmer Sport events, but decided that going proper racing, if you like, was absolutely what he wanted to do, and has had a great time. So Peter Thompson, man to watch, I think, from 8th on the grid. 9th is where you find Alan Wright, another driver new to the championship this year. Louis Darling, number 25, on the outside there, as the cars now start to put themselves into position. You've got Lucy Hodgson in another of the Want to Race WTR cars next up, having been in the championship last year, 3rd in the Chairman's Cup. And again, somebody that did some track days and absolutely loved it and wanted to go further. Damien Duffy is on the outside of that penultimate row, ahead of Lexi Belk, graduate from Ginetta Juniors, and then number 9 of Makesh Parekh right at the very back. So 20 minutes are on the clock. The pace car dives for the pit lane. Drivers now look towards that lighting gantry. We are just about ready to go then, as they make their way up towards the lights. If the officials are happy, the signal can be given to get the race underway, which it is now. And a good getaway is made by Jamie Caudle then on the outside of that front row, trying to outdrag Charlie Digby on the way up towards the right-hander of Riches for the first time. He can't do that, but he can get 2nd place. So up into 2nd goes Caudle. It's going to be Digby, though, that leads the pack on that run now up towards Wilson. He moves across to cover off any challenge from James Nicholas as well. In 4th place there, you've got the red car of Shiv Sapra on the attack as he tries to squeeze up the inside. Was there a bit of contact between him there and also the white car of Alex Dayton? Possibly. Dayton coming off worse. He's dropped 2 places, might lose more, in fact, as the leaders now drop down towards turn 3 for the first time. Clock ticks down from 20 minutes. Round the outside, number 25, Louis Darling, and another of the MDD Racing cars up the inside to attack for 2nd place now. Comes James Nicholas, number 99, lines up to try to make the move. Can't do it for 2nd place, but what he can do is hang on to 3rd and therefore fend off any potential challenge from number 8 of Shiv Sapra. 1 or 2 more running wide, and a big drama in the background. There was one car that was sideways up the curb, and as it came back onto the circuit, hit Peter Thompson, which was the other one involved in that. Through the dust cloud, we'll work it out in a moment. Peter Thompson carries on with damage. The car that triggered it is the red one in the background. So as they come then now up towards the end of the 1st sector, there's another one off the road there, you can see. And was that the car of Charlie Digby? It was. The race leader, I'm afraid, has got caught out coming onto Bentley Straight. So Digby drops down the order, and that's going to give Caudle the advantage, although he's still on the defensive now, to keep at bay number 99 of James Nicholas. So here they come, new order. Caudle leading Nicholas 1st and 2nd. Up to the exit of the S's. Shiv Sapra has survived long enough to hang on to 3rd place. There, number 25 is Louis Darling, who's also gained places on that lap. But Charlie Digby will be very cross with himself indeed for having effectively thrown the place away. And I think the other one that was in strife was Sam Shrimpton, number 24, so the Palmer Sports Scholarship winner, getting all crossed up coming out of turn 4. And as he lost it and came across the track, he took Peter Thompson with him. So you've got quite a few cars now with scars of battle at the end of lap number 1. Then it is Jamie Caudle in the lead. Remember, he's 3 times the winner already this year. He has had 1 victory per venue, 1 at Donington, 1 at Silverstone, 1 at Oulton Park. 2nd place behind him, James Nicholas. Shiv Sapra runs 3rd. In 4th place then, number 77 of Alan Wright. He's made good progress from 9th on the grid, ahead then of Alex Dayton And Charlie Digby down to 6. This is Charlie Digby trying to recover, but he'll be really irate with that mistake on the first lap. So Caudle leads the way in 4th place, way out wide in the background. There was Alan Wright. Charlie Digby on the attack now. Look, as he gets up the inside of Dayton, goes 3rd, diving down towards, I should say goes 5th, diving down towards turn 3. So makes the move, and Dayton's going to lose another place now, I fear, as well. Louis Darling right up with him as well as they accelerate now along that short run down towards turn 3. On the inside line is Darling, number 25. Through he goes. Job is done in anticipation of the corner, really. So Alex Dayton has to slot back in behind. But then wide in front of them goes Digby. Replay, that was Charlie Digby out wide. Got himself on the dusty part of the racetrack. No grip, slithered off wide. Was able to regroup, but a lot of time hemorrhaged. So the race leaders are working their way now up towards Bentley Straight once again. And as they do so, it is Jamie Caudle leading the way. He was only half a second up at the end of the opening lap over James Nicholas, but trying again to break clear here as the cars come again down towards the S's then. So Caudle it is up front and continuing to push here, continuing to try to build that gap. Through they turn once more. There is number 51 then of Jamie Caudle in the lead, and James Nicholas, even though they're on 3 wins apiece, second in the championship, James is not staying really close to Caudle at the minute, and any time lost in a one-make category is bad news, and more bad news comes there for Damien Duffy, number 4, who's been off the road. So the dry conditions, oddly, are catching people out, partly the heat, but also with the amount of dust that's been brought onto the circuit. It's so dusty on the grass verges, that then gets brought onto the track. It makes the outside of the line quite slippery as well. So Damien Duffy, another one in strife. Leader goes through, 6/10 is the margin now. This was Damien Duffy coming down to the S's. Arrived too quickly, braked too late, ran out of road, skates across the grass, launched over the curb. Thankfully doesn't harpoon Lexi Belt's car there. Meanwhile, drama for number 6 now. That's Peter Thompson. He's gone a lap down, so the damage done in that clash early on has certainly compromised him. I just wonder whether he might have a puncture. The car looking a bit low there, maybe, as he limps on. There is Shiv Sapra in 3rd place. Peter Thompson, in fact, has rejoined after a pit stop, but the car's still not looking right, and he gets out of everybody's way. So doing the gentlemanly thing, he gets out of Shiv Sapra's way, then goes back onto the line to claim the line for the corner, and that puts him ahead of 77 of Alan Wright, who's going to want to get past in double quick time, but then runs out of real estate going out of Agostini. Peter Thompson then moves to the inside line to get out of everybody's way. Right, 8 is in 3rd place. That is Shiv Sapra. The lead gap now is 6/10 of a second outright. Sapra is the best of the rookies. Alan Wright's the leader of the Chairman's Cup for the older drivers. And they're losing track position because squeezing up the inside is Charlie Digby. So that's the change for 4th place. Charlie Digby goes through. Pretty committed effort that as he went by. So it's worked in his favour. Drivers then now making the run again down to the S's, where Caudle is in charge, fending off any challenge of James Nicholas, who is maybe back in touch, but not quite near enough again to really think about a move. So the race leaders currently on lap 3, 14 minutes to go. And there is James Nicholas in that 2nd place, pounding along. A little bit further back in the queue, though. This is the view coming through Coram. Peter Thompson hopefully is going to be able to stay out. The car not looking 100%, but if he's content, he might be able to carry on and try and salvage some points now. So through go the race leaders. That gap half a second once more now between the top 2. So James Nicholas, in fairness, is doing his level best to stay in touch. There is Alan Wright, who is coming under attack now from Louis Darling, number 25, as they round Riches. 77 is Alan Wright, the W2R car. And then behind him is Louis Darling in 25. The margin at the start of the lap, 0.189 of a second. But as Charlie Digby goes wide ahead of them, there's not really, I don't think, a chance that they're going to catch him, especially while they're squabbling. What they need to be mindful of is Alex Dayton not that far behind in number 27 as they turn again up through turn 3. For the race lead, though, gaps down a little bit. James Nicholas inching his way back up onto the back of Jamie Caudle. And as they now make that run again out of the corner, heading up to the infield section. Shiv Sapra is a lonely third as he accelerates through. Now, is he being caught by Charlie Digby? Yes. Digby has now done the absolute best within the first sector. So Charlie Digby getting closer and closer all the time. Shiv Sapra hanging on to his third spot, and that is going to be under threat. The margin now is 2.2 seconds. And as the race leaders come onto Bentley Straight once more, this is the view from Charlie Digby's car. So Shiv Sapra ahead, that gap 2.2 seconds, and it was coming down in sector 1 by about 4/10. So mission on for the man that led the first part of the first lap, only of course, if you remember, to then suffer with an off and drop places. So he's fighting back as best he can. Big whack of the curb though there as he comes down through the approach to the S's. First part of it turns now up through Bombhole and on towards that long right of Coram. So there you've got Shiv Sapra accelerating his way down towards the end of the lap. Novice Cross on the back of another driver new to circuit racing this year. Shiv Sapra powering his way to the timing line, still leading his class, remember. And the Chairman's Cup in the command of Alan Wright in the background in the white and orange car. Right, so 11 minutes are still on the clock. The gap between the race leaders is going up now. New fastest lap of the race set by Jamie Caudle, and he is looking at an advantage of very nearly a full second now over James Nicholas. That is the margin to the eye. It doesn't look that great, but the timing line and the official data says just over 9/10 of a second. They both run wide coming out of the Wilson hairpin, and now that run towards turn 3. So Jamie Caudle, who was the winner of the middle race at Donington, he was the middle race winner at Silverstone. He won the opening race at Oulton Park. And as I say, 1 win per venue. He's now done the fastest lap as well. James Nicholas still chasing on. Now look at that gap behind. 2.2 seconds between Sapra and Digby. He's down to 1.6. Charlie Digby again has done an absolute best within the first sector, nearly a full second quicker than Shiv Sapra. So by the end of the lap, battle will be on. May even have had the place changed because Digby is gunning for a podium. He'll be very cross with himself for making that mistake, no doubt about it. In 5th place, Alan Wright, ahead of Darling Dayton. Lucy Hodgson is 8th, up into 9th now, Joe Edge. And 10th is Lexi Belt. This is Digby's view then, and he's about to make that move. Is he up the inside? Yes, so coming onto the Bentley Straight, Charlie Digby up into 3rd place. Now let's see what he can do about those ahead. He's got a lot of real estate to make up, like over 5 seconds, but he's on a mission, and if the two leaders get themselves together, that might just play back into his hands then. Through the S's they go. There is Digby 3rd, 4th Sapra, so Charlie Digby turning his way up through the S's, then towards Bombhole, kicking himself for that earlier mistake, but the recovery has all been neat and tidy so far. On towards the right he goes of Bombhole. Speed building all the while through that long right-hander and then heading up towards the end of the lap. Now, in terms of the gap between the leaders, that is down by a gnats as well, down from 9/10 to 7/10. But Digby is 5.6 seconds adrift in that 3rd place as the cars again come out of the final corner, out of turn 12, up towards the timing line, and through they will go with now 9 minutes on the clock. So we're into the second half of the race, and now fastest lap done by James Nicholas. So the man in 2nd place is catching, and Shiv Sapra, look, having lost 3rd, he's about to lose 4th. Alan Wright is right up with him as well. So the lead gap is down 7/10, and the fastest lap set by James Nicholas. Lots of tyre squeal again, more dust in the air as the cars turn their way out of riches. So there is Alan Wright in the Ace Joinery entry, leading the Chairman's Cup that Lawrence Tomlinson, as the chairman of Ginetta, puts up for the more mature driver to encourage them. So you don't want all these young guns coming in and scaring off the older drivers. They've got something to aim for as well. Peter Thompson, despite the damage sustained early on in the pit stop, he has stayed out, so looking for some points in the main class. The rookie part of the race still being led by Shiv Sapra, but Alan Wright is the second of the rookies. He also, as I say, leads the Chairman's Cup, but we could have a change of lead for the rookie section of the race before long as well, with 8 more minutes to go. Now, for the race lead, the gap's down again. So James Nicholas inching up onto the back of Jamie Caudle. James Nicholas had a win at Silverstone, and he had 2 more at Oulton Park. So he comes here having won the last 2 races on the bounce, but it's been quite a long break between races. So end of May, Bank Holiday Monday, Oulton Park, and now mid-July for the next race. Driving standards flags are coming for Charlie Digby and also for 27, which is Alex Dayton in the white Paradigm by Zentech entry. And that, number 8, is Shiv Sapra, who is still, for the moment at least, hanging on to the lead of the rookie class. But Alan Wright there getting ever closer. The gap at the start of the lap was just under half a second. And it's continuing to come down. For the race lead, that's coming down as well. You can see if people just skim the dirt on the inside, how much dust is wafted across the circuit. Shiv Sapra is the driver that does it there. Lots of task wheel as well coming through Coram. Down towards turn 12 then. Right. Accelerating his way up towards the line, edging closer to Shiv Sapra for a class lead. The leaders, with the gap down again to under half a second, have gone by. 7 more minutes of the race remain, and James Nicholas edging closer to the race leader. Alan Wright, however, is not really staying close enough to Sapra, so for the moment, Shiv Sapra looks like he's on target for the class win. Third in that rookie class is Joe Edge, and he's a bit further back, 9th overall right now. So through the Wilson hairpin go the race leaders. Are they going to have to worry about traffic? They might do, because there are 1 or 2 more slower cars up the road. Peter Thompson is on the inset, still battling on with the earlier damage done. But that car is heading for now 8th in class, trying to just salvage some points. It's worth persevering, even if you're a lap down. You never know, they could be useful come season's end. For the race lead, Caudle versus Nicholas, who is the man with the fastest lap of the race to his name. There is number 99 then, the car that James Nicholas is hustling on, the E3 Sport car, E3 Sport being Jim Edwards' team. Jim Jr., his father, Formula 3 racer, and for many years the pair of them raced Renault 5 Turbos and Clios together, and Jim's 2 daughters, Jade and Chloe, have both gone on to be very rapid racers as well. Chloe perhaps not racing as much these days, but Jade busy racing when she can, as well as being a broadcaster. So the Edwards family steeped in motorsport, now with a team to run as well. Down then towards the S's goes James Nicholas, edging closer to the back of that car of Luke Caudle. Jamie Caudle, I should say. So Jamie Caudle ahead, but only by about 4/10 of a second. Jamie clear, and on the sectors of this lap, he is responding. He's done an absolute best then, the race leader Jamie Caudle, in sector 2, trying to stretch the margin again over the hard charging James Nicholas behind. Again, through the long right of Coram. They turn down now into turn 12, and the run towards the timing line once more. What's going on in the lower order? Well, for 4th overall, and of course for honours within the rookie section, it is still Shiv Sapra ahead. But Alan Wright is doing his level best to bring down that gap. He is still chipping away then as the cars come over the line. And the margin between them has gone up a bit, 9/10 of a second. It's not really playing into his hands. We've got just under 5 minutes of the race to go now. There is Alan Wright, so 2nd in the rookies. He's the leader of the Chairman's Cup, but what he is not being able to do is get close enough to make an attack. Now, up front, Jamie Caudle has done the absolute fastest lap of the race now, 2 minutes 7.018. So that's further evidence that he's desperately trying to stretch that margin. If he was possibly giving the tyres a respite, he's going to have to work them hard again now, because look, James Nicholas right on his tail. He's taken another nearly 3/10 out in the first sector alone. James Nicholas certainly has the pace. Now, is he going to be able to make a move? We've heard drivers saying for much of the weekend how it's difficult to overtake at Snetterton. You have a fast corner into a slow. In some categories, like touring car racing, it seems to be pretty easy. You can run side by side for much of the lap, but in other categories it's harder. And there, way out into the weeds, coming off Agostini, was 27, that being Alex Dayton. Rejoins ahead of Lucy Hodgson. Now, was there any evidence as to why? Yeah, big lock-up, outbraked himself, ran out of road. Louis Darling in 25 got all sideways in avoidance, but yes, lots of coughing and spluttering photographers on the outside of the track now, with all the dust being kicked up by a rather wayward Alex Dayton. Meantime, this is the lead battle, and we've got 3.5 minutes on the clock as they come again, nose to tail pretty much out of the S's, back onto the power, up towards Bombhole. Then they will turn their way through that corner, and then there's another long right coming up. This is Coram, one of the old traditional fast corners of Snetterton. So Jamie Caudle, the leader at the start of this lap by 6/10 of a second. He did an absolute best middle sector, but it's a rather elasticated gap between the two. Up to the timing line they come. A flying lap is a 2 minute 7, 3 minutes on the clock. So we're going to get 2 more laps out of the race. Over the timing line they go now. And it is Jamie Caudle ahead of James Nicholas. Half a second this time is the margin on that lap. Fractionally faster was Nicholas. Now, Charlie Digby behind them is taking a 10th out here and a 10th out there. It's not a massive gain, so he is closing, but not really by enough, I'm afraid to say. But he is doing his level best, no question about it. Third in class, though, again, championship points are going to be important, but the time lost by the error early on and the place is lost as a consequence have all rather conspired against Charlie Digby. But a podium does beckon. He also did an absolute best last sector on that last lap through, so evidence of him still pushing, and there's another lap to go at the end of this. There is Jamie Caudle turning his way through, still in the lead of the race. James Nicholas chasing behind him, but not really being able to get near enough to have a go at him. I don't think everything he does, it just seems as though there is an answer from Jamie Caudle, except was that a little error? It was. He got a bit crossed up, didn't he, going down towards Oggies. So that compromises the run out of the corner. It compromises the arrival onto Bentley Straight. Charlie Digby third ain't going to benefit from that necessarily, but it could be James Nicholas who does. This is Charlie Digby's view. Go right, heading up towards Bentley Straight again. Here are the leaders. Caudle has hung on to it. James Nicholas behind him. And again, he's not really near enough to even think about making a dive up the inside, is he? Come the end of the straight. So they thread their way through that left, that right of the S's, or Brundle and Nelson as they now are, and then the run on to the right-hander of Bombhole. They turn through that compression and then up towards Coram. So is Jamie Caudle doing just enough to look after the machinery, not overwork the tyres on a very hot day to hang on to the race lead? James Nicholas is still determined to try to unsettle him if he can, and he's about to start his last opportunity. One more lap beckons, and again Caudle's car a little bit crossed up as he accelerates then now up towards the line again. This will put 9 laps in the book, and he'll start the last lap as he goes across the line. Less than a lap time left in the race. So Jamie Caudle, James Nicholas, 0.4 of a second the margin. And on that lap, it was actually Nicholas fractionally faster. So he's having one last go here to try and wrestle the lead away. They turn now up to the right of the Wilson hairpin. There is Shiv Sapra, still leading the rookie class and running in at 4th place overall. And not only that, he's managed to shake off the challenge of Alan Wright. It's not a case of keeping him at bay. He has been able to rebuild the gap. So he seemed to lose heart almost when he lost the place to Charlie Digby. But now Shiv Sapra has regrouped effectively. And they're looking as though a class win may well be heading his way. For the race lead, though, it is still up for grabs. Jamie Caudle has led the way all the way after Charlie Digby's error. But James Nicholas is far from giving up as the cars now run together, heading up from Agostini. On the power again, work their way now up through the right-hander here of Oggies, then towards Williams. All the extra corner names, of course, given when the new part of Snetterton was introduced in the early days of MSV's ownership of the Norfolk track, and now accelerating again onto Bentley Straight. So the race leader comes under the vehicle bridge, James Nicholas on the back of Jamie Caudle. And behind them, Charlie Digby. Again, he's going to run out of time, but he has done an absolute best in the first sector. Now Jamie Caudle does an absolute best in the middle sector. And 99, which is James Nicholas, frustrated in his efforts because everything he tries, it looks as though Jamie Caudle has an answer. So they turn now into Coram. Through that long right-hander, down towards turn 12. The clock has hit 0. The checkered flag is going to be at the ready. And so it does look as though this is going to be a 4th win of the season for Jamie Caudle. It will help to increase the championship lead as well as he comes across the line. Jamie Caudle wins the opening race of the weekend in the Ginetta GT Academy. 2nd across the line is James Nicholas, and then for 3rd, Charlie Digby with 4th, and a class win going the way of Shiv Sapra. He is the leading rookie driver home, and 2nd in the rookie class, but winning the Chairman's Cup is Alan Wright with the top 6 completed by number 25, which is Louis Darling. And he was only fractionally ahead of Alex Dayton, who in turn was just clear of Lucy Hodgson. Joe Edge crosses the line in 9th place. And the top 10 should be rounded out by Lexi Belk, whose car is on its way up towards the timing line just goes through now. So a good drive by Jamie Caudle, because he was under constant pressure and did just enough to make sure that he saw off the challenge then of James Nicholas. Battle will be renewed tomorrow. They've got 2 more races, so 2 more opportunities for James Nicholas and indeed Charlie Digby to make amends for today's disappointments. But they're a happy Shiv Sapra. Lots of drivers quickly getting some air into the cockpit, because even though 20 minutes sounds like a pretty short race, they're hot in these cars, and there'll be some heat soak as well for them to think about as well now they're low at speed. So getting some air in is pretty important. So a good drive by Jamie Caudle to take that race win, and they will be back on track again tomorrow for their first race at 12:05, and they round out the weekend racing at just before 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Race 1 of the weekend then for the Ginetta GT Academy goes the way of Jamie Caudle, James Nicholas second, and Charlie Digby in third. Fourth to win the rookie class, Shiv Sapra. Fifth to win the Chairman's Cup, Alan Wright. And Louis Darling sixth from Alex Dayton and Lucy Hodgson. Joe Edge ninth ahead of Lexi Belk. Damien Duffy was in dramas earlier on. He was 11th ahead of Makesh Parekh and Peter Thompson, collected by an errant driver early on in the race, which was the car of Sam Shrimpton. That ends up then in 13th position. So a good race for Jamie Caudle, and win number 4 of the season. A winning margin of 0.8 of a second. It was a good start by Charlie Digby from pole position, as 1 or 2 other drivers seemed to struggle away from the line. But as the cars made that run round the right-hander of Riches for the first time, heading into the braking zone for Wilson Hairpin, Charlie Digby able to fend off the challenge of Jamie Caudle. Running wide though was the car of Alex Dayton, and that started to lose places. Peter Thompson found himself in the wars a little bit, because as he came powering his way out of the left-hander at turn 6, Joe Edge came across the front and collected him, and the 2 of them ending up badly delayed. Joe Edge survived it, but there was quite a lot of damage to Peter Thompson's car. Charlie Digby, I'm afraid, threw away the race lead by running wide coming onto Bentley Straight, and that left the way clear for a proper squabble between Caudle and Nicholas for the lead. And also in trouble was Damien Duffy, but he was able to bounce back from his curb hopping at the S's. Despite the best efforts of James Nicholas though, it was the car of Jamie Caudle that was able to hang on in there and came through for a race win, and for Jamie, the championship leader, a 4th victory of the season.